right. Hello, everybody. We are back. The Save Armadale campaign. The IT social media and engagement group is here with another show. It's been a while since our last show. Odds are good that the reason we didn't have a show recently was because we actually filmed one and then I forgot to record it. Um,
It happens.
right. And as I was just telling you, Sarah, in a lot of ways, I blame myself for that. Uh, Only because I just, the record button got away from me. Let's just be honest. And these things happen. Um, you know, I wouldn't say it's as egregious as like listing a castle for sale without talking to anybody about it, but like it's close, because we had a whole beautiful podcast that was
We
just
did,
basically two people talking, right? So
but
yeah.
I'm going to say a lot of things have changed since that podcast.
Yeah.
So it might have been a good thing that it didn't go out.
Yeah. Obviously, I think we went into that podcast. It was right before the Clandon USA annual general meeting. We had found out I think that at that point where we hadn't known if there was an investigation yet. Maybe there was, but like obviously didn't know that like that investigation had concluded. So yeah, I guess like this podcast would definitely be in a different tenor, so to speak. So, and we can dive into those more as we kind of go through it. But
For sure.
yeah.
So let's introduce everybody to what our campaign is, because I know we have a lot of new
Mhm.
listeners lately.
Mhm.
The Save Armadale campaign was a group of people that have come together to save our clan heritage, to save the estate. The Clan Donald Land Trust trustees decided to put it up for sale. And so this is a group of passionate people that have really deep dived into the issues at hand in our area, in Slate, and others areas. We have people all across the globe who are joining together in this.
Mhm.
And we've done a lot of good in a very short time.
Yeah, we have, and like we have our office bearers, committee members, and eventually probably trustees at this point as we go into like organization. But I like a lot of people know Morag, who's the director, and then Shauna, who's the secretary.
Correct.
And then Steph is our convener. And then Carol Thompson is our treasurer. And then I think our local archaeology specialist, which is awesome for me because I'm like a huge history buff. And then Juliet is our minutes taker, our secretary of meetings, and like she handles a lot of the files and documentation. She does a great job with that. And then there's you and I, which I think a lot of people already know. Like I'm the officer of engagement, or I wanted to say minister, but nobody passed that. And Sarah, you are in charge of like the IT, all of the stuff, the
All the things.
merchandise.
And then Edna is also like our assistant treasurer who helps out Carol with
Yes.
all of keeping up with
I was,
accounts
yeah, I was gonna
and
bring her up.
also merchandise. She helps me with merchandise.
Okay. Well, see, there you go. So like that's yeah. So that is our crew. Um,
And I'm just going to say for anybody who doesn't know this, our committee chat is 24/7. It does not stop.
yeah, no, it's and obviously we've had a lot to talk about like in the past few weeks. And sometimes the chat just feels like a support group for everything going on. But
A little bit of
yeah,
that.
it's a lot, it's a lot of nonstop work to be honest with everybody. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of things that are happening in there. A lot of decisions are being made as far as like what we do and where we go forward, like in coming up with a lot of strategy and things like that. And obviously there's more focus now looking towards the future and what happens from here. So um
Do we want to
I
dive
guess
into like the castle mismanagement and the Oscar investigation and what's come of it and where we are now?
yeah. So at this point, we everyone there was like announcements that there was an Oscar investigation, which is the charity regulator in Scotland. That came to a conclusion, and they basically found that the CDLT was not operating outside of their bounds when it came to their, I guess you could say, deed of trust. Um, so at this point, the OCR won't be taking any action on the sale of Armadale Castle, and that was probably the number one best way to actually stop, augment, or pause the sale. Was by them because they are the regulator, and with the government officials that we've spoken to, it's all been pressed to the OSCR to be like the ones to stop sale. So that was not great news for us. Um, I guess from the standpoint of determining like what level of like mismanagement or anything like that occurred, it seemed like it would have taken longer than 2 weeks to really dive in everything, just from the outside looking in. Like I don't work for them. I don't know how the investigations work there, but just given that, a lot of the information that had been received and like had been delivered to them, as long as it took us to gather it, you would think it would have taken them at least that long to review it. So,
And that's kind of the thing is where we're at now. So the sales date has concluded. Offers have
mhm,
poured in. There's not a lot of talk going on right now. I
right.
think everybody is trying to figure out next steps. Our committee is still pushing forward to organize as our own charity.
Mhm.
We are not giving up. The fight is far from over. We're going to continue to fight to protect our heritage and Armadale at that. Um, I know that Lord Godfrey has made a statement and said that, our hope is that we will press for a presence at Armadale in the future as well.
Right. Yeah, and that's something, I think that the community has also expressed the same thing.
Mhm.
I think there's some level of like acceptance by a lot of parties that obviously this thing is going through as far as the sale. Now, there was a statement released by the CDLT saying that it could take a while for all of this to go through. I mean, we don't even know how long that could take. I mean, there's so many dynamics to this involved. Like somebody puts in an offer, and then who knows what will happen next. I mean, there's costs and stuff there associated with that property that I don't think people are always 100% privy to, like the trees and things like that, and repairs. A lot of dynamics. I guess the thing is like from the standpoint of what we do next, there was always a plan on our end to continue to push for preservation of heritage and things like that, and regardless of what happened with the castle. So there is a mission for us that we've always thought we were going to proceed with as far as like this group goes. And I think it's something that's worthwhile for everybody who's like currently in the group or wants to consider joining. There's like a lot of things that are coming down the pike that are going to be actually very exciting that, like you will see. I don't want to announce them yet because that wouldn't be any fun. So yeah.
Oh, come on.
Right.
Well, and maybe we
But
talk about like how we've come to this spot. So the AGM, the Clandon and USA AGM happened.
Mhm.
Some situations happened at there, and we're not going to really dive into this because we don't want to talk bad about people. However, it did not turn out the way we had hoped.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily like a commentary on like talking bad about people and more than like an observation of the situation as it unfolded, like per the information that we have was, like we had expressed written permission to sell t-shirts at the Clan Doll USA annual general meeting.
Yeah.
Like there's not two sides to the story of express written permission. Like it is what it is. It doesn't matter what anybody else has heard. It doesn't matter if there's something else going on, like, what information is being talked about. Express written permission is express written permission. Okay. So like there's no two sides of the coin. So we had that. I think within, I don't know how much the time frame was within the AGM beginning. I think it was like within the same day that it had started, those t-shirts were pulled from sale by CDUSA leadership.
And we will be
You know,
clear in saying that funds for our shirts were going to always stay separate.
yeah, I think that there's the other concerning thing too online that I've seen is like this kind of air of like, well, they make sure they know what they're doing with their money and things like that. Like, I mean, what an insult that is, to be honest. Like, like we don't like. There's never been a nefarious plot on our end for anything like that. We're not the CDLT, so we'll be open and upfront about exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And so like, I guess there's been like this sort of like, I don't want to say gossip or whatever, but like it's like I've personally seen the questions on Facebook about like the legitimacy of what we're doing with the t-shirt sales.
Yeah.
We've always said what we are going to do with it, and it was present a legal case. As we move forward into different avenues, like we have to look at like how we diversify and use that money to continue with our stated mission, which is to preserve the Clan Donald heritage and all of that. But none of that money is ever going to be used personally for
Right.
anything. Like and like that, like the idea that that's something that will be brought up by people who work in an organization that functions in a similar way as far as like having like budgets and things like that. Like I don't know. That just seemed like way out of bounds, to be honest with you. So no, I'm glad you said that, Sarah, because like that's important. Like all of that money was just going to be used for what we had stated it was going to be used for at that point.
Exactly.
Um,
Every single person on our committee is a volunteer and will
right,
remain as such.
right, exactly. And so, and that's also important too, because like, yeah, we don't have paid positions, and we're not personally involved in any transactions that would engage in millions upon millions of dollars.
Right.
There are people who are accusing us of things that are involved in those sort of things. So, I mean, like, I guess the issue for me is what, why spin the narrative in that direction, right? So, the other thing too that occurred was that I guess from a stated like accessibility purpose, and plus we wanted to see what was going on as members. Like nothing was available for video or Zoom. But like I understand, like, well, I don't understand, but I guess the idea that like they would not allow the information out is one thing, but you're also talking about there's a lot of members of Clan USA that don't have access to go to California or travel. So like they didn't get an opportunity to see the meetings.
Right.
And there wasn't really ever a valid reason as to why that occurred, other than like that maybe they weren't paying ticket members, but they didn't get an opportunity to see anything. So,
Well, and
um,
I know for me, I'm going to say this. I have not been a paying member of Clan Donald USA for long.
mhm,
Um, but I have known my heritage my whole life.
mhm,
And I'm part of Clan Houston, and which is our line. It's the slate line. So in that, I know that there's been a lot coming to light that, I've had conversations with people within our committee and outside of our committee, and just talking
mhm,
about, how things are handled, and the
mhm,
people who are publicly attacking people in our campaign, who
mhm.
are slandering and lying, and then so forth and so forth. It's not a good image. It's not. I think I know for me in particular, like I respect everybody until you give me a point to not respect you. But
Right.
that being said, it hurt my heart a lot to see what happened. It hurt my heart to
Mhm.
see that, you and I've had many conversations about if somebody did something wrong in one of our families, we would hold them accountable. We would have tough
Right.
conversations with them.
Mhm.
Um, but we wouldn't publicly start attacking in certain ways.
Right.
Um, and a lot of that has happened. And so I know a lot of people have been hurt in that. I know I've been hurt in that. I know Edna's been hurt, you've been hurt. Um, and it's sad to see. It's sad to see what's coming of it. But on the bright side of it, I think we all know the community that we've built is not just people here in America, but globally. And we've had people join our group say they didn't even know that Clan Dalton USA even existed, and they're a
Right.
McDonald, and now they're joining in with global people and getting to
Right.
learn more about their heritage.
Right. I think it's a very interesting dynamic as far as like the piece about who's speaking about what and who here. Like,
Right.
I guess from very like looking at like the responses from American people, like there's no awareness at all of like what like the Scottish people have been through for generations of this stuff, right? And so like when you have a situation where like something's getting taken away from them, or something like that. I mean, like we've talked about this before. Like, I mean, there's people in our committee who grew up like going there every year, four
Yeah.
times a year with their families. They have memorials, they have benches with their family names on them.
And all
Um,
of that's going to be lost to them.
we don't. I guess like we don't necessarily always have a full grasp on what that feels like for other people,
Right.
especially when they're in Scotland. But like not all of us get to have like that ocean filter of like, oh, well, this doesn't really affect me because it affects them directly, so like you're taking something actually away from them. And like there was never like ever any attempt by some people in CDUSA who are saying, well, we're being attacked by this person, whatever, to take that into account and say, like, okay, well, the reason that she might be upset or the reason that somebody might be upset over there is that we're actually taking something away from them that's real. Whereas for us, it's just like this thing that we have that we talk about. I mean, for people who live there and visit there, I mean, like this is like a real situation, right? Like this is something that's physically being taken from them. So,
For the Slate community, it's their
right,
economy. It's
right.
not just a place. And I mean, it drives their economy in such a real way.
Hmm.
Um, it impacts so much more. And to say, oh, well, that's your problem, not ours. It's not okay. It's not
Yeah,
okay.
we've heard a lot of that
Heritage and
too.
history
Yep.
is being lost, and
Hmm.
that impacts all of us.
Right. So, right. And so, like, I guess, like, for them to come out and say these things and do whatever without having that sort of awareness, like, just speaks to, like, the disconnection that there is between the two groups and, like, between what happens over there with the actual heritage sites and these organizations that are over here.
And I would like
Right.
to believe that it's only a few people that hold that view. It's not the greater
Yeah.
organization, and we know that and we
Hmm.
respect that. But the views of a few have greatly hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. And to speak to that as well is like because these people have inserted themselves and sit in a position where like they are representatives of a certain organization, right, or a
Right.
group. So like they're front facing people or have been, and some people that insert themselves into the conversation recently were not being discussed at all until they decided to say something. So like it was a very interesting situation with the AGM. So like obviously there was a lot of grounds for separation from our standpoint and like what we're trying to do. Like we don't want to exclude anybody from anything, but we're
Right.
also going to make sure that like the idea of like who is to blame here and what needs to happen from here doesn't get lost. You
No, I
know.
mean, at the end of the day, the trustees made a decision
Hmm.
without conferring with the greater clan. The trustees
Right.
made a decision to not just sell off part of the estate in order to keep our heritage center. They chose to sell everything off.
Hmm.
Their goal is to take our museum and make it something that everybody can enjoy. However, nobody knows where these artifacts are going to be stored or how that's going to
Hmm.
go into account or where any of this money is going to go to. We know that they have submitted to change purposes. We know some of those things. We're not
Right.
going to get into a lot of things for legal reasons, but
Right.
at the end of the day, we don't know where all of our artifacts are going
Hmm.
with this sale. I mean, obviously they're not being sold off, but we don't know where they're going. There's been no transparency. Any statement that they've put out has been in response to work that we've done,
Right.
but it's still not a definitive plan. And again, you're keeping the clan at arm's length. And this is
Right.
the clan's heritage.
Hmm.
And there's only a few trustees who are deciding the fate of that.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, we are holding them accountable and
Hmm.
saying, this is on you. You have destroyed the last spiritual home that we have on the Isle of Skye.
Right.
But then on top of it, like you've impacted an entire community. And those issues are very real for every single person in our committee and in our group.
Right. And that's, I guess, the thing is like when we talk about like there's been a lot of questions about what we wanted out of like certain situations like the AGM and things like that. And I don't think the expectations were unreasonable, and they were to hold the American trustees accountable for what they did.
Right.
Now, whatever that looked like for Clan Talent USA, like there was a very good opportunity for them to hold them accountable and then show people, especially future generations, that like we're investing in something bigger and better now, right? Or we
Yeah.
want to do something different from the way things have been done, right? It's not just a big clubhouse for people to hang out in and create and do whatever. It's something that we're going to say, okay, we're going to invest in the future, put something back into like our heritage and make sure this castle is safe, do and all of that. And like they missed it. It's
Yeah.
a missed opportunity. And so then you have, the situation where like our expectations were that, well, not even expectations, just like an ask, right? It wasn't even like we weren't even demanding. Do something to make these people understand that like what they did was wrong. And we were being told by a lot of people there they didn't agree with it either. And then when it
Right.
came down time to do it, guess what?
I mean,
Nothing.
it's hard to have hard conversations, but that's why they're called hard conversations.
Right.
We've been asking hard questions from day one.
Yeah.
We've tried so hard to ask, why are we not holding accountable certain people? Why are we allowing this to happen? What can we do? Yes, they are two different organizations, so let's just clear the air on that. Clan Donald
Hmm.
Land Trust and Clan Donald USA are two completely separate organizations. Clan Donald USA cannot stop the sale by uprooting the trustees. They don't have that power.
Hmm.
We know that. We've not asked that, but ask
Right.
hard questions, try to have why are we doing this? Is there another opportunity? Is there other options? There's a lot of different ways to do business. And at the end of the day, hard conversations have to happen. But if we're not going to ask them because we're afraid of who we're going to hurt, we end up hurting more people.
Right.
And that's unfortunate as to what's happened. But that being said, I want to, just say for a second, like our committee has regrouped. We
Hmm.
are in the process of still organizing our campaign into an actual charity. We are building a global community, and there's so much good
Hmm.
that's still going to come out of this.
Yeah. Like so we are just days away from rebranding our public page for the Clandon Collective. We've created a lot over like the past month and a half. We've like really created some really cool little relationships online, with people like sharing posts and following and like talking about like the Slate community, like what's going on with like other local Scots and what they're doing with their like projects and like history. We've got some really cool like poetry submissions from people, from the United States and like even Canada, where they're sharing like their stuff too, which has been awesome. And I think that's the general idea of what we want to do. Obviously, with the idea that like when we bring everybody together, like we're doing this with the idea of preserving heritage, right? And like doing all those things. And like that's going to be rolling out soon, right? So like that work is going to begin, and so that page is also going to function like that group is going to function as like these organizations who don't like to communicate or don't like to talk or haven't sent out an email or whatever, they're going to start getting communication asking, hey, well, how's it going, what's up? I'm not asking you to provide letters, I just want to see what's happening. You got any events happening? You got like any activity going on? Like what's good, basically, right?
Right.
So um I think that like outreach like that is something that's been missing for a long time, especially across regions and states and countries, and it's something that needs to start happening. Not
I
even
think
just
it's
from the
such a
standpoint
cool
of
thing.
watchdogging. Yeah.
It's such a cool thing too, and it's such a cool way of um sorry, y'all are gonna hear noises. There is a storm
It's
like
the hawk.
crazy
Oh.
happening. But I think it's such a cool way. So like our clan is the
Mhm.
one of the largest clans in the entire world. Yes, there's a lot of members of Clan Donald USA. There's
Mhm.
a lot of members over in New Zealand and Australia and Scotland, different areas.
Mhm.
But it's such a remote area of like, oh, hey, those are the Americans. Oh, hey, those are the Scots. Those are that.
Yes.
But reality is we have this global clan,
Mhm.
and why is it that my right hand doesn't know what my left hand's doing
Mhm.
when we can bridge that gap? So you said it so beautifully a minute ago of like, this is not just a Scotland problem.
Right.
What's happening to Armadale? It's not.
Mhm.
And it's naive to believe that, for one,
Mhm.
because we are a global clan. Our clans members who are in Scotland are no more separated from us. Like those are still our cousins. We're all
Right.
still related. So what hurts them should hurt us.
Right.
At the same time, like we have this beautiful opportunity to really deep dive into the community that we've come from,
Mhm.
that our diaspora, like we long to be part of,
Mhm.
but in such a beautiful way. Like there's such craftsmen in our clan and in the
Mhm.
communities that we all live in, and it's such a beautiful way that we can branch everybody together and say, hey, we are engaged, we are here, we're checking in with you.
Right.
And there's a lot of engagement in our group that's
Yeah.
beautiful to see. People are sharing Gallic songs, people are sharing old folk
Hmm.
stories and history and, different areas, art and, scenery and photography. It's so amazing to see how people are banding together, even though we're all hurting, even though
Right.
everybody just feels like the wind's been knocked out of our sails. Everybody's still coming together. And how true is that to our history as a clan?
Yeah.
We have had our differences in the past, the different branches have. Just look at history. And if you don't know the history of it, I encourage
Hmm.
you to dive into it because it
Right.
is a rich history. But this is, I think Godfrey said it best, and I'm going to quote him in this is our present day battle.
Yeah.
And the way that we win that is by all coming together. The way that we win
Right.
that is that we remember, hey, there's a global community here. It's not, oh,
Hmm.
hey, I'm an American. I live over in America. No, I want to connect in with my cousins in Australia and New Zealand and Scotland and wherever else. And if you pull up like our website, the savearmadale.com website, you
Yeah.
can see that the engagement is worldwide.
Hmm.
It is
Yeah.
not just American Scotland. It is literally worldwide.
Yeah.
And that is a testament to the clan that we have. But that's such a beautiful testament
Hmm.
to the page that's being built, which is currently called Armadale Uprising. It's going to
Right.
change to Clan Donald Collective, right?
Hmm. Yep.
And that is going to be a place that we can share everybody else's post. So if
Hmm.
you are an artisan, and you have a shop or anything else like that, we can share it out and get it to the global clan as a
Yeah.
platform. And our group has people from all over, so it's really become this beautiful community where everybody's
Hmm.
coming together, maybe under the pretense of our hearts were broken and we don't agree with the sale, but I feel like we're all called to do more in this.
Yeah. I think that if you're gonna say, like I guess the thing is like if I had an idea like, like if we were going to do something like this, we should do it because it's based off of us and like not inspired or anything like that. But I think that that's not necessarily the behavior, like the attitude that we should have. I mean, it should be have like we have a framework for how it doesn't work.
Right.
I we just do. Like, and the reason that the sale was allowed to happen, like if everyone's being honest with themselves, like nobody was really paying attention.
Yeah.
And they were able to take advantage of a situation which nobody was really watching. Right. So like to avoid that and like to really bring together and like and preserve heritage, like it takes collaboration, it takes communication. And so like that's the idea, right? Is to do that. Um so like one of my things I'm going to be doing is, obviously since the closing dates happened, I've managed to just arrange a trip to Sky and Slate on October. I'll be on October 29th and I'll be staying until the 5th. So I'm going to be going around. I'm going to meet as many people as I can. Because I think it's like I've interacted with a lot of people online, and while that's great, and you get to know people and they get familiar with you and know that like you're somebody they can actually talk to. There's some misses like that you don't get like in person, right? So I'm gonna say go to Armadale, pay my respect to it, and like I don't want to say goodbye because we don't know what's going to happen, but
Right.
um take the opportunity to see it one more, see it again. And then also, like I said, like when I first time I went to Scotland, I didn't really get a chance to do it, but like really interact with people. And hopefully get the chance to just like walk into a store and be like, hey, I'm Josh, that weirdo from Facebook. I'll take a dozen cinnamon buns,
Right.
please, and all of that. So yeah,
Ship some back to Texas for me.
right, right.
So you are going in October.
Yeah,
I am going to challenge you to take lots of videos and pictures and take us
sure.
along, because I think everybody who cannot be feet to the ground before everything happens would like to be. I
Yeah,
think it's so cool that you're getting to go and meet people and really engage with the community. And
yeah,
anybody in the community who wants to meet with Josh, reach out to us. You can email
yeah.
us at info@savearmadale.com, or you can just reach out on Facebook. He's on all the time, so he'll respond to you.
Yes.
And you can set up that meeting and that engagement with him, because Josh is out here bridging gaps, y'all. I'm impressed.
My office hours yeah, on Sky will be from 8 to 5, by the way. So anything beyond, I'm just kidding.
No, they won't.
Write me, yeah. Send it to my email, you know, otherwise we'll get back to you. No. Um,
He's gonna bring me back
no,
some whiskey too.
yeah, I don't know. Like, what, yeah, I don't know about the international. Like, I guess you just bring back stuff, right? You have to declare it,
They have it at my local store. It's
put it in
fine.
my shoe. Yeah, no. Um, no, so I think I just think it'd be a good choice. It's just something I was felt compelled to do. And, you know, like my employer has just like been very gracious about it. Like, yeah, go, like that's awesome. So, it's, it would be an honor to meet Godfrey and Claire as well. If I get that job and get that chance there, that'd be terrific. So, but ultimately, I'm going to Armadale on October 31st to haunt the CDLT for real.
I
So,
mean, I hope the ancestors are with you and they
yeah,
propel you in that and that they speak just boldly to you in that moment.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
I
Um,
won't do anything crazy. I had a plot to put a bunch of Save Armadale stickers everywhere, but I guess in Scotland that's a problem. So
don't vandalize.
yeah, that's like the second most egregious crime you commit in Scotland is putting stickers on
You should
random
put one
things. So
in the guest book.
oh so yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Put one in the guest book.
Right.
Um, and I want to just say real quick, like our
Hmm.
campaign has not stopped. We are
Hmm.
still raising funds to continue to fight for our
Yes.
heritage. We are still selling merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have stickers, we have all sorts of things, and every single ounce of that money goes towards funding where we go next and how we continue
Yeah.
to fight for our heritage and continue to fight
Hmm.
for both Armadale and the artifacts in the Heritage Museum and just all of it. So
Right. Yeah. And I think like it's an important point to make because like we talked about earlier, there's just been a lot of discussion on that. Incorrect discussion.
right.
And I think that people try and provide like that air of suspicion is wrong. There's nobody here that's given their time that's doing it for themselves. I can tell you it's not for attention. I can guarantee you it's not for promotion because I just resigned from my position as and I don't need like we're not doing this for credit, right? Like so if there are people that think that there's like a individual gain here goal, that's just not the case. I mean, we just want to make sure everything's preserved and safe. I mean, that's the most important thing.
We just want to see
You
some
start losing your history, you
transparency
start
and
losing yourself.
protection. Right. And
You know?
we want to see our heritage protected for future generations. The people that are in the community who have children, I mean, I've shared this story before with others, and I've shared it on Clint's podcast that I have a young daughter who literally cries about the
Hmm.
situation and wants her
Yeah,
heritage protected. And that's such a driving force for us of how do we continue to fight for the future and how do we
yeah.
continue to preserve for future generations. But I also think not just our children, I think about those that are just starting the journey of learning of their family and their
Right,
heritage and what they come from and to walk into this mess, and I'm just going
right.
to call it a mess because that's what it is. But to walk into it at this state and not know what's going to happen, you just
Yeah.
feel devastated. And it's one of those things of like, how do we continue to grow and build for all of these people that are just now coming into our
Hmm.
command, but at the same time, our future generations and
Right.
preserve what we have and continue to share those stories
Yeah.
because there are so many pieces of Scotland that are just being torn down, sold off to the highest
Hmm.
bidder, and heritage and history is being lost.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunately is a reality.
Yeah.
And we have a duty, whether you're there or across the pond in America, you have a duty to stand with those that are fighting for that
Hmm.
because our history is important to continue to protect.
Yes.
And so we're not giving
Mhm.
up. We're not going to stop. We're going to continue fighting. If you are new to all of this, come on the Facebook, talk to us, ask questions. We're happy to
Yeah.
answer. You can check out our website at savearmadale.com. There is loads of information there. We have a blog there. We share our Friends of Armadale section is other
Mhm.
articles and things that we share there as well. And we are happy to share your stories if you would like us to share. We've had so many people reach out to us and share their stories of Armadale, and some are absolutely gut wrenching, the
I know.
experiences they've
Yeah.
had with the current leadership that's there. And
Yeah.
I wish I could say it was otherwise, but that's unfortunately where it is. And so
Yeah.
our hearts go out to those people. Our hearts are with Godfrey and Claire. I know this
Mhm.
is devastating to them, and this is our pledge that we're going to continue to fight. We're not
Yeah.
giving up yet.
Yeah. 100%. Um, and I think that, just from the standpoint of like what everybody's looking for, like as far as like outreach, there's a lot of different places you can go. So we have our Facebook page, we have the website, we also have Instagram too, which we're going to start building up again. We're focusing very much on the investigation, things like that. We want to rebuild some of the things that we have that people can engage with as well. But you know, so long and short of it is, for all you community members and the local Scots, you're not getting rid of me yet. So yeah.
Any of us, they're not getting rid of any of us.
Right.
You
Right.
just get to
Right.
go visit before the rest of us. It's fine.
Right. There you go. See, yeah. They're like, God, this
And
guy.
you still
Yeah.
owe people a tattoo anyways, Josh.
I know.
It's gonna happen eventually. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
It will. It will. We just, I just have to get enough bravery to do it. That's all.
So are you gonna get to swing by Kinloch Lodge while you're there?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I will.
amazing.
I'm not gonna say when. I'm just gonna show up and see what happens.
That's amazing. You
I'm
have
just
to
kidding. No.
try it
I'll,
out
I'll,
there.
they're like, who's this guy? Yeah, no. They'll probably think I'm the guy that's just changing their water out or something. Yeah. So,
I love it. I love it.
right. No.
I am
But
going to
yeah.
wish you the most amazing safe travels and tell you that you have to
Yes.
take us along because we're going to have to
Yeah.
YouTube your experience while you're there. But to everybody who's listening, to all of our people, I think just keep staying in the fight with us. We're not giving up yet. The fight's
Mhm.
not over. I know we've had some
Yeah.
hard days. It's not over. I'm going to encourage you to keep, pushing in, keep discovering, keep really leaning into our history. There's a lot of really amazing people that are on our Facebook, and there's a lot of talented individuals that we want to support in
Yeah.
the community. So just keep engaging, and we
Mhm.
will continue to put stuff out. And Josh and I are going to be better at putting a podcast out every week. So it's
Yeah.
our
It'll be
challenge
fun.
to ourselves.
Yeah. We'll see it. We'll see you next week. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
great. All
All
right.
right. We'll talk to y'all later.